Baggins, the Hobbit.
Small
Yeah.
clap.
It's also the first day of autumn, I think. But anyway, the local Rivendell group that I've been running for 45 years or plus usually has a party, and we sing folk songs, and we read things and so forth. And because it's going to be on Zoom this year, we're going to have guest speakers, including the artist who did this calendar, the Tolkien calendar 2021. Well, he did some of it because they actually have 3 artists in it, but we have Ted Naismith. And the author of this new book, The Worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien, John Barth, Garth is going to join us from England.
Oh.
So that'll be on Saturday, and I'm going to post a flyer in the chat. But I'm going to do some Tolkien-related things that I did mostly years ago, and you've heard two of these things before. But I'm going to start by reading a sonnet that I wrote in 76 or so, or maybe a little later. And I've decided to post it in the chat window. And today, when I was looking for it, I found the original page that I wrote it on. You can see it's almost all crossed out. Originally, It was a free verse poem that I turned into a sonnet. Anyhow, this is called From Amon Sûl. Aragorn gazes on ruined Arnor. These are his kind, the last battlement, crumbling yet valiant, the tumbled and scattered stones, their fierce rough pride dissolved with the cement, are worn at last to smooth forgotten bones. No longer desperate, the ranger walks the secret paths that run like dried up veins, these once coursed with life. Silently he stalks through shadows, dreams that haunt these last remains of nations, roads, and long decaying keeps, abandoned high and ancient hopes of men, whose ghosts, still watching while the kingdom sleeps, wait patiently until she wakes again. He crests the vantage, for a moment stands. He sees himself embodied in these lands. And then I'm going to read another poem that I wrote. And it turned out to be a Tolkien poem, but when I wrote it, I was thinking, I don't know, Jung or Freud or something. And it wasn't till months later that I looked at it and thought, oh, this is straight out of The Hobbit, isn't it? And so I gave it a subtitle. So this is called To Go Fishing in a Dark Cave, a soliloquy for Smeagol. Smeagol, you may remember, is the nice name for Gollum. To go fishing in a dark cave, tunnel secretly between the mountain's feet, to where a silent stream bars passage. Sit there, toes tingling just above the surface, fingers on the line's pulse, waiting the tremor of the sudden hook. In the dark, what strange and bulbous-eyed thoughts may snag on a line of thinking, wrestle with the will a moment, and be gone forever? What fisher might leap for the fleeting catch, forgetting the ledge when the line snaps, breaking a century's silence with a splash, and, caught in the current, find the fish bigger than he thought? Swallowed in mad mountain, even if the fisher keeps his head above the water, while dangling uneasy soles in the dark, the clammy fish finally yielded to his blind fingers is cold. Not wet like a splash, but simply cold. So the fisher holds his prize with both hands in his lap, a little proud, a little puzzled. His half-smile freezes in the dark as the bone chill seeps into his blood, and he discovers that he can no longer throw it back.
Yes. Oof. Yes, David. Yes.
Okay, and this you've heard before. It's the Fall of Gilgalad, and it's a setting of Tolkien's poem. So it's a true folk song. That's one of the kinds of folk songs there are.